Hello and welcome to Taku Katsu. We're going to talk about Nabisco. We're going to talk about crackers. We're going to talk about anything and everything that you can put with a mushroom. Today, we are talking about Sabikui Bisco. This is like the new big anime, I think, of the early part of the year. I'm super excited for it. So let's introduce my wonderful co-host. Let's start with the wonderful Peachan, Patrick.
Look, guys, I am just a law-abiding citizen. I have a bow. That's fine. Ignore my bow, and we can move on.
You know, the way to the kill is really important in my religion. And then our own favorite Utena, the one and the only La Latina.
All I gotta say is badger, 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 mushroom, mushroom.
Deep
Thank
cuts.
you, Vicky. That was great. I love it. Don't remember what it's from, but it's great. And I am the host today. I am the host today. I am going to talk about cafes. I'm going to talk about street vendors. I'm going to talk about pandas who can do surgery. I am Cori, and we are talking about Sabikui Bisco. This is Otaku Katsu. We talk about the first episodes of anime, new and old. And we're going to start with what we like. Then we're going to go to what we don't like. And we are going to talk about if we're going to watch some more. So the basic premise of this show is it's a post-apocalyptic world or Tokyo or Japan. Where people get turned into rust or something. And giant mushrooms explode out of things. If you watch the trailer for the show, apparently people take shells out of people's mouths by kissing or something. Haven't seen that yet, but it was wild. So we start with a monk entering the town, and it goes from there. And we just kind of I got an idea that the main character is the monk as he's trying to get in, and then it immediately takes a left turn into a brothel. Where we introduce our second main character, who is the Panda Sensei. So, Vicky, what did you like about Sabikui Bisco episode 1?
I loved Panda Sensei's intro, where it was just like the dialogue and the shadow that was cast. Just
very suggestive.
I was like, oh, so we're going into an edgy show, but they get you. It's just enough funny to be like, gotcha.
Finally, I expected something to be good, and it wasn't porn.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, yes.
It was.
It only took 47 episodes. Amazing.
But I love Panda Sensei. Just his character art is just great, and I like how I am confused about the mushrooms. Like, why are there giant mushrooms everywhere? Why does this arrow make mushrooms appear? Why is his sister so insanely hot? It's questionable.
Okay, since you said it,
that's good design.
Since you said it,
that's good.
She's my wife now. Thank you.
Pow!
That
like, whoa.
100% is, it's all the things. It's the big, tough, long-haired samurai.
She had the outfit.
Always.
The voice.
Always. All right.
Yes.
And just the way they animated it, the one eye that you can see. Like, yep. I like that. That was very crisp.
For Zane, who really likes Kill la Kill, she's kind of like, not Kill la Kill, Akame ga Kill. She's kind of like the Ice Queen lady, but with black hair, which makes her better in all the ways.
No, Pau is great. Panda Sensei is great.
Wait, sorry, I'm interrupting. One last thing, since you got me Pau is my favorite. Anyway, when the kid jumped on Panda Sensei, it's like, a girl?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Panda Sensei's a girl? Oh, Panda's not a girl.
Wait, I thought he was a boy the whole time.
He is a boy the whole time, but like it was a whole like what do you call it? Like they faked you out, but then they didn't fake you. It was
it
was great.
It's a lot of nice double takes.
Yeah,
triple takes.
I'm gonna shut up for like 5 minutes.
No, it was I love that section of it, and I was like, "What?" And then they were like, "Psych," and I was like, "Oh," but just I love it. I am intrigued, and it did something, and I can't even describe it, but it is intriguing enough to keep you wanting to watch more. So I almost watched the second episode, but that's what I liked about it.
Yeah, awesome. Patrick, what'd you like?
Yeah, I what I have to say, like the characters are very interesting, even though we don't get to see too much of the main Bisco, the main. The panda is like the main character, but the whole idea of Bisco being like the secondary, like kind of the other pair. But he's introduced like at the very end, and we don't get to know anything else about him except he has a bowl that makes giant mushrooms appear.
And he definitely wants to make medicine.
Yes, because he's got an old dude with him too. I guess he needs to cure him.
Yeah,
so.
I did not catch the old dude until the second watch. I was like, oh shit, is he dead?
And so the whole idea of like mushrooms and their spores being like banned and like a hidden commodity, but then like if people still want to eat it because it's a heavily food, but it also causes them to rust, to catch a disease and make them rust. So it's such an interesting like premise of this, like making mushrooms the main point of the story, like the resource of the world is like good and bad. The whole premise of it is just interesting. I think Vicky said like I don't know exactly the whole story and that's why it's good because I want to know more about it. The characters, the settings, and it's not like I don't even know if it's like necessary magic. It's just the bowls make these mushrooms and like there's these the rocket as well, right? Like the airplane shoots a rocket and it explodes with mushrooms. Like what is this technology? Yeah. Like what is going on?
That was what was so crazy because he in the fight scene in the end he shot the bow, hit the helicopter presumably. It got filled with mushrooms. They jumped out. It crashed. That also resulted in more mushrooms, like 3 mushrooms. And I'm like, did he shoot 4 bows or 4 arrows? I don't get it.
Yeah.
So it's very unclear how this magic mushroom works.
Right. And it's just so the setting itself. It's just they did such a good way of building the story and the scene. It's just so intriguing, and I'm like full on board with like it's a weird premise, but like the way they tell it is in a way that I'm like on board with whatever craziness they have in the story. It's most animes they like give you this kind of like backstory and like, oh yeah, this magic or it's just how the things are. But this post-apocalyptic world with mushrooms is like, okay, yeah, I'm down for this for some reason. I need to know more about the mushrooms. Why are people turning to rust? All these things and like, it's great. It's very timely too. It's very timely with our
put into the world.
Yeah, as well. People were wearing masks. Don't breathe in the spores. They'll cause your body to turn into rust. You gotta be careful out there.
People trying all sorts of remedies to cure the rust, and it's like literal poison.
Yep, exactly. Hey, drink this this poison. It makes you stronger. It'll kill the poison in you.
What do you call it?
You'll bleach out the poison out in you. It's fine. We can inject that.
What do you call the medicine where you just do like 1/100th of a whatever and dilute it until it's
is
not
it homeopathy?
Homeopathy, yeah.
Is it? It's something where it's like if you dilute it enough.
It's homeopathy. No scientific evidence for that. So anybody who wants to argue that there's scientific evidence for it, please send it to me. All right.
Yeah, or our email, which is otakukatsu podcast@gmail.com.
Or you can send a tweet
Cori.
to Vicky that Corey's a jerk and doesn't believe in homeopathy because he doesn't.
I didn't say homeopathy was.
I did.
I'm not.
Hey,
well, this is not.
Hey, Patrick's open to all theories.
Yeah.
Guys.
Hey, Patrick is open to any pass to his home from any ladies he likes. So,
I got a homeopath.
Yeah. Yep.
Slowly dilute.
Patrick is open for ladies and maybe other things. I don't know what he does. All Japanese women apply. So, since you didn't ask, I'll take it. Cori, what do you like about the show? All the things. I like all the things. I like the sister character, best sister character ever. She can beat me up and look good doing it. The art's good. It's not like Demon Slayer amazing, but it's really good. Like smooth and all that, very colorful, good characterization. All that, just good. I want to know why the hippos were drinking water in Japan. I've never known hippos to be natural to Japan. So did they escape the zoo and populate? Because hippos are dangerous.
Well,
that's a good question.
It's a good question. Another good question is, why are there giant crabs and
right?
Yeah.
What is
That's
going
on my
on?
list.
Sorry.
And here's the crazy thing: those crabs never move.
They're just like
Yeah, they just always because I've watched it twice now. They do not move at all. Like rockets get fired at them and stuff. Nothing. It's like, are they alive? Are they what? What is crab? What is his huge horse? What was that?
oh, like the iguana was like
that,
like
was
a
it an iguana?
It was like a dragon iguana looking thing.
Yeah,
I thought it was
the
a
lizard,
giant weird horse.
Yeah, the lizard.
But maybe it was a lizard.
the
Yeah, it
kid,
was
the guy the
big.
kids were talking to.
That thing was as big as me, and I'm big, so big.
Well, horses are pretty big.
Clydesdales are pretty big. Horses
Clydesdales are huge.
big. You know, again, I am a Clydesdale of humans. That was a big horse, is all I'm saying.
That's accurate.
Thank you.
Hey, you also saw the trailer. What about the trailer made you like the show enough to be like, let's watch this?
I thought the art looked there's one thing that watching anime since I was 16 or so 14 years old has taught me is that when it's really good animation, you can tell. And the better the animation, usually the better the quality of the entire production. The story, the voice acting, all of that is especially, Japanese originally, is usually it's all a bunch of telltale signs of good stuff. It's kind of like if the music is good, if you got a really good famous conductor in a movie and you got really good actors in the movie, you're like, it's probably going to be good. There's no promises, but it's probably going to be good. You know? It's like, I like these actors, I like all the things they've done, and I like the music, and the story sounds good, like, from the get-go, and I watched the trailer, and if they didn't spoil anything, it's probably a good movie. Like, just kind of broadly. That's not a guarantee, though. Huh?
Mm-hmm. So, along those lines, if you've heard of the movie Nightmare Alley by Guillermo del Toro, star cast, star director, great, trailer. Disappointed by the movie.
Yeah.
It just didn't. So I get the whole thing where it's like when you bring all this stuff that's great together, you should have something great that comes out. Sometimes it's hit and miss.
Yeah, and that happens. I mean, I can definitely think of one or two examples of that.
Yeah, some good animation that one show.
Great fight scenes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And by fighting, you mean swords, pokers?
No,
also, the best part, best top tier voice acting, top tier.
We don't talk about that.
We don't talk about
that. Yeah, I can't really compare this story to anything. My first closest thing is like Vash the Stampede in Desert Punk, which is one really good anime and another anime nobody knows about because it wasn't that great.
Trigun?
Yeah, like Trigun, but Desert Punk. But then you just might as well take away Desert Punk. And it's just Trigun. But it's not Trigun. This is not Trigun. Not yet, anyway.
No, unless it's Trigun it's more like Tri-Bow, Tri-Arrow.
Tri-Mushroom. Tri-Force. We can do this all day.
There we go.
Try harder. So... yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing I did for that show I didn't finish, which is Odd Taxi, and I'm gonna make that this is not the most bold prediction. Odd Taxi, I'm like, he definitely killed her, and I think I'm wrong, but I never watched the show. I never finished it. I watched like 4 or 5 episodes. But I'm going to try to finish it someday and come back with my definitely true prediction that he killed her. But anyway, I'm thinking the mushrooms didn't cause the rust. I think the rust is caused by something else.
Yes.
It may not be government conspiracy. I don't directly feel like that's what this story is going for. I'm thinking it's something else. It may even be something else that like they know about but they won't cure. But I don't think the mushroom spores cause people to rust. I don't understand, obviously, why mushrooms explode and turn into giant trees of mushrooms. But yeah, I guess this is actually just a super big metaphor about Japan getting destroyed by a nuclear bomb. Literal mushroom clouds.
Yeah, it's pretty spot on. Pretty spot on. And they don't want the mushroom clouds in their city. Mm-hmm. And because and the way they explode, it's just like, yeah, it's a pretty good metaphor. It's a pretty good look on that. It's like, because like they're saying like, they mentioned like, no guns, no like the weapons, like, but bows and arrows, like for the priests, it's like the weight of the kills. Like, it's okay. It's okay for them to use their weapons.
No, it wasn't. You're not supposed to have a bow either. That was the point. It's like no guns, no projectiles at all. You need like basically knives and clubs
with your hands.
Yeah. Like the girl you fights with her hands. She has the metal rod.
Yeah. I think, and I just kind of lost the thought, but I think the mushrooms are important to rebuilding the world, because if everything went to rust, there's not really any plantation or plants, or I'm surprised there's still hippos and crabs for some reason, but you kind of need the mushrooms to start the decomposing process so that things can live. So I'm wondering if that's why he's spreading mushrooms everywhere, to kind of start decomposing and putting nutrients back in the world. That's my theory.
That's good. I like that because like they're in the desert. Obviously, the green is barely there. My theory is that with Panda Sensei, he's trying to find a cure for the rusting of people, and mushrooms for the cause of it, supposedly. But he's trying to reverse engineer it and use mushrooms as a cure for the rust. But I mean, that sounds like a very simple like solution to it. Like the anime is like, oh yes, we gotta use these mushrooms to cure it. But I don't know if they're gonna do anything more crazier than that, like anything like out of the blue, because that's a pretty simple story, right? Like the mushrooms were the cause of this, and so the Panda Sensei is gonna be able to cure his sister, all this good stuff, and revitalize the world, I guess. But I hope they do a different twist, because
do you think he saves his sister? Is she too hot to kill? This is the real question.
I think
or
so.
She just hot enough to die? I
think they saved her.
Yeah, they put way too much effort into like animating her eye.
Yeah, the design. Did you see her battle suit? Her battle suit was
okay.
That was so cool.
She looked awesome in every possible way, in every possible scene. I will not let that go. But it was weird that she knocked him out and he fell into her boobs, and then she was just like, "We're gonna stare at this for a minute." I'm like, "That's weird." That's weird.
That was so. I'm almost wondering if it's
that's anime. Well, it's
fine. Yeah, I think it's an anime thing. I don't think it's anything else.
I don't
or that they're not actually related, but it's big sister little brother relationship.
No, I think they're actually
I think they're related. Yeah.
I like Vicky. I like what you're thinking though.
But also, it's kind of like if you knock out your little brother and they fall, they gotta fall somewhere.
Yeah, but does the camera person have to be like, let's just boob face?
See him buried in her chest.
Yeah, it could have easily been like he just slumped forward, or it could have been anything else. They just this is action. They decided to do this.
I disagree. They had to do it because it's anime. They just had to do it.
This show seems like it's gonna ride that line between 5 and 6.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think this is a safe 4.5 to a 5. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't think it's going to go panty shot anytime soon.
No.
It's far too serious so far for it to go that way. Like, he's in a brothel. They make some jokes about, that's about a 5. It's like PG, 13. Like, it's very like, we're not going to go there, but we're going to play like we are. And then
it's like the one F-bomb a PG-13 can get
yeah.
in a movie.
Yeah.
So they used it really well.
First episode. Bam! Shadow load.
Yeah. Speaking of, I also like that brothel scene where it's like the old woman's just talking and all the girls are at the bar and she's talking about the ugly doll and it's figurines worth a lot. And I'm like, wow, I better keep all of my toys because one day they'll be worth money.
So about that whole scene. So she's talking about a doll and she said like action figure, or did she say figure? I couldn't.
The other girls mentioned that it was a figurine from the Before Times, basically.
So what I was really wondering, because this show really was going like, hey, anime nerds, manga nerds, we know. Because it mentioned Tetsujin, right?
Yep.
Which makes me think giant robot. And then the kind of evil, I want to call him Kurosawa, but that was his name. Kurakawa, maybe?
The government dude?
Yeah, the G-Man. He was talking about, like, what's more of a waste of my time?
Yeah.
Sitting here munching on nuts and talking about our favorite manga? I'm like, that is very specific. What are you doing?
He was just weirdly hitting on Panda Sensei, and it was like, ugh.
He was hardcore hitting on, like, that was a lot. Ugh. Like, that was sexual harassment dialed up to 8, and he's like, I could go to 9, but I'm not, because I'm respectable.
Look, good characterization, guys. It's like
absolutely
all those characters are like, yeah, there's their thing.
He was not Hisoka level, is what I'm trying to say.
No, not quite there.
But he was going for it. Like he was like, yeah, you know what I'm here for. For you, I'm here for your brain,
your science.
Anyway. Science. Give me your
science.
But yeah, I was really wondering what they were going for because they mentioned a figurine. So I'm like, they didn't just say like Barbie. They're like figurine. I'm like, what do you mean Japan? Like located in Japan post-apocalyptic. What do you mean figurine? And then she mentions Tetsujin. So I'm thinking like a giant robot from the 70s. And then he talks about manga. And I'm like, this could just all be flavor, and it could mean nothing. There could be a giant robot in the sand where the dude was scraping off the rust. I don't know.
Yep.
But she very much made it sound like she was talking about a giant robot in the sand with his hand sticking out. Because she was talking about she saw a black finger. Tetsujin. Mm-hmm. That's a thing. Anyway.
No, I'm sorry. I think you have something on. You might have a point because, like, that might be a Chekhov's gun. Like, they probably will bring that up because they did spend some time like on that bar and that brothel scene. Like, why are they talking about this? Yeah. Like, why are they just
a lot of time?
Like, and these characters, I don't think they show up. Maybe they will show up in later episodes, but like, obviously, it was just for Panda Sensei to be introduced, and that was about it. Like, yeah, but they did talk about that scene. I was watching it, like, why is this old lady ranting? Yeah.
So, what didn't you like, Patrick?
Oh man, this is a tough one. I really liked a lot of this show. It has a lot of mystery to it, and I'm really compelled to learn more of. I'm invested in, let's say, in the story, in the characters that we were shown. Like even for the main character Bisco, like we only get him to see him the last edges, but like obviously there's more going towards. I like his design, like he's got the tattoos and the red marks on his face, like sort of like tribal type of deal going on. But I don't totally know. The whole story.
Who's the guy who goes by? Was it Red Riot? The red haired guy turns into rock in
Red Riot.
But what's his actual name?
So the Kirishima.
He's kind of like a Kirishima look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was going to call him Tetsu, but that's the other guy.
That's also similar. That's
right. So he turns into like steel. Anyway.
Yeah. But like,
does that mean like iron Tetsu? Tetsujin.
So, yeah.
All right.
Or
steel or something like that.
Yeah, but I don't have that much to like about it. I mean, for me, there wasn't that. I mean, the animation was good. The voice acting is good. Mm-hmm. The music didn't really stand out for me. I was just like, whatever. But I was just more, again, it was more so invested in the storylines and what they're saying in that playthrough. There wasn't that much action, but obviously there's going to be a lot more moving forward based off of what they did show. And it's just a different type of explosion. It's like watching that, like you're so used to seeing fire, but like just seeing mushrooms, you're like, what? I don't. It's
also,
just so colorful. Like
cool.
What?
We didn't even mention the weird bunny hat men. That was so weird.
Oh yeah, the G-Man's like Black Ops.
His little stormtroopers with their little rabbit heads, mascot rabbit head, like fluffy pink rabbit heads. This show is so weird.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's pulling me in, is just all these weird types of elements, and it seems to work because of how well they present it. And I'm just like, here's this wacky world. You may not be into it, but if you're into whatever they're giving to you, I'm like, yeah, it's totally your alley. I'm just so intrigued to just learn more about the show. I was going to watch episode 2 and further. I was going to keep watching it, but I realized that that's going to, I try not to want to spoil you guys the story.
Watch party.
Yeah. But yeah, there wasn't that much for me to know about. Just the music didn't catch me. I also haven't listened to the intro unless that was the ending part.
I think the ending was the intro music. It wasn't offensive. I didn't notice one way or the other.
Right. But that's like it. Although the whole story, everything was great.
Yep.
But yeah, Vicky, what do you not like about the show?
It kind of dragged during the desert gate scene, and it wasn't quite clear if that was like before he entered the city or after he entered the city, or if it's like in the past or future or when it happened. And it's kind of like that's him, but they don't confirm that's him. So it's like, are they going to pull a thing where it's not actually him? And if it's not him, why did they spend so much time on that section?
Yeah, that was 100% him, though. I'm pretty sure. I'm so confident that was him. The only thing is, like you said, it was like daytime, and then when he like attacked the city, it was nighttime. So it's like, what happened in between? Because the gate guard spent, forever just talking, and he's like, I'm bored at work, so I'll just talk to you until we get the machine to work.
It's got to be, because he was like, the cart is full of dead people with centipedes, so they didn't check. That's got to be the giant crab, probably. But it irritated me so much that I was like examining the character when we do see him at night in the city to see the eye color, because I was like, okay, the mask, the dude with tape and bandages is green eyes. Does he have green eyes? He does. So it's got to be him. But just that I had to go through all of that.
You needed that revealed.
Yeah.
All the clothes come off. Just I'm here.
You had a momentum moment. Like, wait a minute, what was going on?
Yeah. Where it was like putting the pieces together myself, which is fine, but it's kind of like it didn't feel like a piece that needed to be put together. It didn't feel like a mystery. It should have just been like, here he is trying to get into the city, and then it was just out of sync with the timeline, because it was dark in the city, bright at the desert gate, just weird.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, there wasn't much I disliked about it, because I did like the pacing. I just got bored of that particular scene, and probably just because it was like the dude at the gate.
A lot of anticipation, no real payoff.
What about you, Cori?
Nothing.
All right, moving on to the next topic.
That's right. I got nothing. I just wrote nothing with a question mark. I liked it. It was weird. It was interesting. I don't feel like I've seen this before. My comparisons are Desert Punk, Trigun, and Blade Runner, and those are really weird comparisons to make. They don't quite fit where I want them to, but they're close enough for like very specific elements. So it's cool. I think it's interesting. It's a post-apocalyptic future Japan with hippos and giant crabs and mushrooms that can turn into gigantic trees. And I don't know what's going on, and I am in it. I'm for it. Let's go. So I'm just hoping that it does have a little more action as far as what we saw in the trailer. I assume it does. But, yeah, the story seems fun. Like, not amazing, but fun. And I can do with fun. Fun's a good thing.
Yeah, I think the big part of the show that sets it apart from other shows that we've seen is that they take the premise and they, like, pull it on not just to 11, but to 12. Like, they just really put on the sauce or what they're trying to do. A lot of the elements that we've seen before, like they have a good premise, but they don't play into it full dive into what makes the story interesting. For this show, what makes the story interesting is just all these weird elements and the giant mushrooms. Because like I said, there are plenty of post-apocalyptic animes that you can watch. There's a lot of these type of deserts, settings and all these things. But for me, the mushrooms and the rusting of humanity is like, oh yeah, that makes sense for this world. Let's try to explain that and play around with that. And it's, even though it's so wild, it's like, yeah, it's what makes it believable and more interesting, because they play into the idea, like, this is how the world works now, But yeah, I gotta watch episode 2.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to watch it as soon as we're done. Or at least over the weekend. Any more closing thoughts before we start talking about side dishes on this wonderful Katsu Don?
No, it was, it grabs you in a way that you don't quite understand, but are cool enough to like want to keep watching. Like, I was almost watching episode 2 because I was like, what's going on? Why do the mushrooms grow when he shoots the arrow? Like, it's just wild. I love it.
All right.
Well,
I think this,
not love it. I like it.
You like it a lot. I think this episode gets 3 fried chicken cutlets on our scale that I just invented. So, moving on. A lot of relevant news as of March 1st, 2022. I'll start with something less than not political. I can't get displaced if I wanted them because Warsaw is in Poland and Ukraine is being attacked by Russia, and that sucks. So I don't actually know if that's a problem, but I know that Warsaw is in Poland, and Poland is taking refugees, and Ukraine is getting messed up for no good reason. So that sucks. Moving on.
I apologize for your addiction to desk plates.
That's the real. I haven't bought any in a couple of months. I think I can make it, but who knows? Who knows? But seriously, yeah, war is bad for a lot of reasons. It's not hard to make that claim.
Mm-hmm. Especially in this day and time, like,
oh, sorry,
what even? Well, it's just like in this day and time, like, what even? Well, like, it'd be like if Mexico wanted to take back California and Texas and stuff, and it's like, this is separate now. I mean, those states did get sold in the first place, but it's kind of like after some time goes by, you just kind of have to let it go.
Yeah. There's so much to it. I learned some stuff, but we're not going to go into it because that is not our thing.
That is not our ball. Yes.
What is our thing is what I've been talking about for a while. Funimation is owned by Sony, and now so is Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll is now taking over all of the new airing of seasons that are distributed and produced for the English, or at least the American-speaking audience. Wow. So, in short, if you had Wakaman or VRV or Funimation, I had 2 of those, cancel your subscription and subscribe to Crunchyroll, because those old services are either going to be completely closed down, or they're only going to show stuff that's been long since aired on Crunchyroll.
So are you saying Crunchyroll is winning the battle, or is that Sony win the battle?
Sony's winning the battle because they own Funimation, and now they've owned Crunchyroll legally for like 6 months to a year. And just now, as of March 1st, they decided to make their move. And so Funimation is no longer going to air new shows on their site. You still have access, as far as I know, to all your other stuff, which I do have stuff that I bought. And I had a nice deal because I subscribed in 2013 for $60 a year, and that was fantastic. And it's still fantastic, and now it's useless. So, but I also was paying for VRV, so it didn't matter. I was still paying a lot a year because that was monthly. So you have your options for Crunchyroll, and you have your options for anyone who's not Crunchyroll. And so if you like to pay people to watch anime without ads, or let me not say like, if you prefer to do that because you're a well-off human being who can afford it, Crunchyroll is your only real option other than some, smaller players.
Mm-hmm.
We should see if Crunchyroll would like to give us a sponsorship.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure that I'm sure that will work. Okay.
To our dear listeners, reach out to Crunchyroll. Tell them they should sponsor us.
Yeah. When we have like 200,000 subscribers, I think that's a decent power play.
Oh, when we have like maybe just 5 or 10,
They really need that. So just because I canceled all my subscriptions, which end in the end of both March and April, because it didn't have any benefit to do it. Otherwise, to keep it going. Crunchyroll has 3 tiers. They've got the $10 a month, $8 a month, and I want to say $15 a month. And the 15 is a little bit much. It gives you like a swag bag. That's the real bonus. Plus like one other thing that doesn't matter unless you have like 8 people trying to watch anime at the same time on the same account. I hear the swag bag isn't that great. And then you have the cheaper account, which is $8, which gives you what you need if you're just the only one using it, and you're not going to try to stream it on 2 things at once plus some other whatever. And then you got the $10 a month, which is kind of what they're trying to get you to do, which allows you to have multiple active access to the account, basically, at the same time, simultaneous streaming, and you can download stuff. So, yeah, and the only thing that I learned that I enjoyed about it was that Crunchyroll has manga, and I probably was told that years ago and never cared, and now I do.
Oh.
Because that's a decent way to read manga if I was going to do that.
Well, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I
I didn't either.
That. Yeah.
So I was like, okay, well, I'm spending less money a year now, and everything is in one place, so I just have to deal with their crappy player versus multiple people's crappy players to watch all my anime, because it's really not loading great on my phone right now. Like, I was watching Sabikui I hate this title.
Sabikui
Bisco.
Subaru Nabisco. Okay, so I was watching Subaru Nabisco and 2 different companies that give me delicious cars that taste like crackers. Anyway, so I was watching it, and both times I watched it, because I watched it like 3 days ago and right before we started, it was like buffering for the first 10 minutes, and it would just buffer, pause.
Oh boy.
It was just annoying. And then it stopped and I was fine. But now that I thought about it again, I'm like, yeah, that really sucked. And I've never had that happen on VRV or Funimation. I've had other problems with Funimation and some problems with VRV. But I liked VRV, even though it was basically Crunchyroll, but not. So I'm a little disappointed. But that's one of the big newses. The other one I'm going to save for last because I'm so happy. And I texted you both. And then Demon Slayer is amazing, and it's super popular.
Oh, man.
And it occurred to me in the middle of the day today that they have a thing that they call... They have skills that are based on breathing. and I talk a lot of shit about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure because of their goddamn bubbles. So I wanted to take a couple more minutes to make fun of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And also talk about how Demon Slayer has amazing art and amazing animation, and they have breathing skills that I don't think are stupid.
Like, he has breathing skills, right? I haven't seen all of it yet, or any of all, but like, he has breathing skills. All I know is that he's able to summon water and summon lightning. Like, that's, to me, that's bubbles. Come on, what's the difference of shining bubbles through the lights and making rays? Come on now, it's just a technique. Like, where does all that water come from? Why did you create bubbles? Come on now. Wait.
Let me add on to it though. Both breathing. This must be some kind of like reference to some kind of martial art from like 1,000 years ago. But the breathing in both shows allows the person to either live a really long time or heal or some combination of things like that. With the ability... Wait! Oh my god, I'm going to keep finding connections. Okay, so the breathing technique used in JoJo's is used to kill vampires who die in the sunlight.
Yes.
The breathing skills in Demon Slayer are used to kill demons who die in the sunlight.
You got...
Wamu!
It's... Wow. I mean, hey... let me just say, without Jojo, you wouldn't have Demon Slayer.
Jojo's walked so Demon Slayer could fly.
Oh, like I'll take it.
Replace demons with vampires, and you're like, yes.
and heroic Nazis. That's right.
Yes.
JoJo's has heroic Nazis.
Basically,
what are you going to do about that?
Guile from Street Fighter.
Except the Nazi, yeah. Freaking heroic Nazi. That's a bull. Anyway.
Yeah.
I told you I was going to jump around a little bit today. Mm-hmm. Demon Slayer. If you have not watched season 2, it's like season 1, but also really, really good. And then sometimes even better.
Vicky, have you seen Demon Slayer?
I have not.
Watch it, please.
Surprisingly, my sister has watched it, and she's like, the fight scenes are excellent. And I'm like,
yeah.
Look,
100%. It's beautiful.
I want you to think.
Beautiful.
I want you to think about the best fight scene you've seen, not in a TV anime, in a movie anime. Think about it.
Movie anime. Like Promare?
Like Promare, like Samurai X, like pick one.
Picking Promare. Because that's like the
Promare. All right? Okay, you ready for this? Better than Promare. And it's TV, and you can watch it over and over again, and it's different episodes in a row. It's that good.
All I can think of is like when an anime has fight scenes or there's fight dependent is Dragon Ball Z. So
and that's what's so crazy is that yes, it is a shonen anime. It is about fighting demons, and the characters are the characters, and you might like them, you might not. I have a display, speaking of which, of Zenitsu being a badass. He is the least badass character in a show full of badass characters, and he's not a badass, let me be clear, except when he is, which is very rare, because most of the time, he's a whining, I don't know if I want to swear yet, but he's a whiner. And I have a display of him, because he's a badass when he's a badass. Techniques. Yes!
Because the fighting scene.
He has one technique. One skill.
It's like Magikarp when it evolves into Gyarados.
Yes. I am now calling Zenitsu Magikarp. Thank you. He is Magikarp. All right. It's a good show. It's a fun show. It's an enjoyable show. It's not overly complicated. It will never be better than Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. But, man, is it one of my top, 10, 20 shows? 100%. Mm-hmm. It's just really good. It's just good to watch. So I would highly recommend, if you have not gone on the Demon Slayer train, Mugen Train is a movie, watch that. And then watch the rest of the show, because that was an accidental reference, and I am happy to ride it.
Well, since Crunchyroll is monopolizing anime in America now, I guess I'll get that subscription and
$10 or $8.
Watch it that way. $8.
$8.
I mean, I'm not trying to dual wield watching anime at the same time. I can only read one screen at a time.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason you need the $10 is if you want to download it, on a plane. That is easily my third favorite way to watch anime is, I'm on a long trip and I don't have to drive. And I could just, boop, I'm going to watch this anime for 30 minutes. Oh, 30 minutes has passed. Next. It's a great way to consume a show that you, want to watch but haven't gotten to yet.
Good tip.
Or if you're like me and you are driving, when you don't drive, when you switch with your partner, then you watch 2 or 3 anime you're curious about, and you're like, I don't know, let me see. It's not a bad way either.
That's a good technique.
Yeah. Because when you don't have internet and you're driving on the highway, or you're in the passenger seat on the highway, it pays. Well, or read comics. That works too.
It was the anime, and I didn't really have to see the screen, but I did play a 2.5 hour thing about the Evelius Chronicles that had some things to see, but that was for a long road trip, and I was wanting to catch up on the story. Mm-hmm. So don't do it.
Okay.
Disclaimer: don't watch anime while you drive.
Yes.
Don't. Oh, yes. That is a terrible. Anyway, no. Please watch the road. I've been hit in a car by a different car because they weren't paying attention.
Because they were watching anime.
Wasn't pleasant. Mm-hmm. No, at best they were watching their kids. That is the best way to describe it. I am being generous. Okay. Demon Slayer is awesome. Watch Demon Slayer. If you want like actual recommendations, this is what the podcast does. But I'll talk about other shows that we all know are good in a lot of detail, but not right now.
But also, because if you want to watch Demon Slayer, watch some breathing techniques, watch some JoJo's, particularly only season 1 through 2. Otherwise, the breathing techniques are gone.
I got really excited at the theory that Demon Slayer just started inventing stands. And that feels dumb and wrong, but also awesome. Because now I want them to also have stands. Not because they need them, but because I want them.
Not every show needs stands. God of High School
how many
proved to us that we did not need stands.
Shows? Oh yeah,
we did not need stands. It was good. It was good before.
It was.
Episode 1 was good before.
So good. Did you watch any of that, Vicky?
Which
God of High School.
No.
It was one of the Crunchyroll productions that didn't do so great. Basically, it was a really cool hand-to-hand fighting tournament anime that turned into JoJo's, but not nearly as bad. I mean, good. I mean, you know what I said.
I gotta finish JoJo's, though, because that is meme central.
I gotta continue JoJo's because I still don't like it that much.
You've watched worse for longer.
Yeah, there you go.
Utena?
If the audience could see my face, it just fell into a...
You set me up. I had to do it. I had to. But yes, I probably
amazing.
watched worse shows. I don't know if I watched worse shows for 3 seasons. God, I've watched a lot of JoJo's.
There's worse that you watched for 2.
This is probably true.
That's true.
I'm trying to think of what I've watched 48 episodes of that I thought was like bad the whole way through.
Oh, that sounds tough. That's a lot of episodes to go through.
Because here's if I'm going to not trash on JoJo's because I'm here to make people argue with me who don't argue. I think JoJo's is fine, but I don't like the dialogue almost the entire time. Sometimes it's funny, and it's funny to hear, was it Jonathan?
Speak
swear
English, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Holy shit! Like, that's funny. That's funny out of context, so it's kind of funny in context. But, you know, like, I'm still waiting for them to kill Dio for the 3rd time, I think. Like, I don't know. I just never, and honestly, just the dialogue is what really kills me. Because once I went from English to Japanese, it slowed down my consumption of the show. Slowed down immensely because I had to pay attention. And the more I paid attention, like, this dialogue is bad.
Look, here's the thing. If I can defend all JoJo people, which I'm not allowed to, I'm just saying, Cori, me and Vicky had a hard time with a heavy dialogue show as well.
Like, non-stop.
Hey, wait a minute. Look. That's a heavy dialogue show, not a bad dialogue show.
Like, you needed a reading speed of 100 words per minute.
Yes. That dialogue is Aaron Sorkin level of too much dialogue. I get it.
But my point is that they both have their styles, and the writers, the creators, they continue that line through all their work. Like, JoJo's still with the dialogue explanations.
First off, Name one other thing that the guy who writes JoJo has done in the last 40 years.
That's all he does is JoJo.
Exactly. So he doesn't do it through other work. He only has one work.
Like the other guy, the Monogatari person.
Monogatari guy.
He's only done Monogatari for the past.
It's all Gataris.
It's all Gataris.
Yeah, but they're different Gataris. There's no Katana Gatari connection in all the other Monogatari series.
Yeah, but then that was just like a piece of work. Every other thing, that's his style. Like, he hasn't done anything but other Gataris.
You're comparing apples to trash pandas, and I don't know why you're doing it.
I'm comparing 1980s to 1990s. I'm not sure which.
I don't even think that's from 90s. I think it's late 90s at the best.
Late 90s.
But I think it's actually like 2004 or something. Anyway, so any actual like news because Bleach is coming back, Shield Hero's coming back. Any other news that you guys want to talk about before I gush about that show that you don't know I'm going to talk about?
I watched second episode of Love is Kill, and Koroshi Ai,
that one,
the one that we watched last week,
the one that I was disappointed in,
and the one that we're all disappointed in, and episode 2,
worse.
Yeah, it did nothing for me. It just like
oh wow,
I felt like
was it just boring?
It was just boring. It was just like, yeah, I get it, I get that. Yes, all right, you know. I don't. It was just like whatever. I can't really. I felt like episode 1 and episode 2 could have been together, and you could have cut an hour-long episode and made it one whole episode. It just that's just how I felt. I was like, it was a lot of fluff, and I was like, give me more. Yeah.
Then you waste a whole hour watching.
Yeah, pretty much. I felt like they could have cut it up because they're just like, okay, they're just going back to episode 1. There was literally a flashback to episode 1 in the beginning of the episode, like a minute or 2 minutes just going through what happened in episode 1. I'm like, they didn't need that.
It wasn't like a first episode recap. It was a flashback later in the episode to the first episode.
Yeah, exactly. They did like remember this thing happened? I was like, why did they need to do this setup? Like, we watched episode 1, guys. We
remember when the guy was creepy and murdered people?
Yeah.
Remember when he definitely took out on her date that was definitely consensual?
You were not wrong. Did you remember the time she talked about your smell and that's his whole motivation? Like, remember that part?
Remember when he stalked her incessantly?
Right. But just to say, I mean, that is oh man, I dare not want to watch episode 3. I feel like it's just like whatever.
Can I
really
build
slow.
an anime where the male characters are reversing the roles of women so that they can be creeped on constantly in a gross way, just for some cultural sensitivity, maybe?
We call them reverse harems, and
except not like idealized at all. I want it to be like unnecessarily like creepy and weird.
You're right.
Because they definitely do that in anime sometimes. There's that one woman who's like a sex pest, but it's usually done kind of in a weird, like, kinky way, and not in the like, oh, is this like terrifying for you? Yeah, not normally.
Will we categorize them as an aura? Well, I mean, like an aura lady, just creeping.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. What about you? Anything on there before I talk about that thing we don't need to talk about that I'm going to talk about?
No big anime
All right.
news.
So there are things in the world that I would like that are anime. One of them is a anime for Banner of the Stars 3 or 4 or 5. Technically 3 was an OVA. Return of Bleach is great. Return of Inuyasha was great when it happened. The creation of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was obviously one of the best anime ever. And now I'm going to get Spice and Wolf to come back. And I am so excited.
Yeah, everyone.
I am so excited. And nobody cares. But I'm excited. All right? Because Spice and Wolf is great. Spice and Wolf is so good that when the writer wrote a visual novel, and I don't like visual novels, I bought 3 of them and played one of them. I really like Spice and Wolf. I really like it. I read all of it, and then I realized there was more of it, and I bought it and not read it yet, which I need to do. And then they had a successor series, which I have not read because I have not read the other stuff. I've read part of the first book of the successor series. And other things. And then Patrick bought me an unnecessarily expensive tome of all of it, and I appreciate it. It is going to go in a glass case I don't own yet. So yeah, Spice and Wolf is coming back. Spice and Wolf. Do you know what it's about, Vicky?
Vaguely. It's a wolf named Hollow.
Yep.
Wolf goddess named Hollow.
But not, because she doesn't like being called a god, but whatever.
She's like a 17-year-old looking, but is like 17,000.
You reminded me of the one thing that's a little weird about the show. Thank you.
I mean, you guys, it's a goddess. It's fine. It's anime.
Thank you, Patrick, for reminding us that that's what you always say about their age when they're... Okay, so let's talk about this part real quick.
There's that whole trope.
Now I feel bad about it.
No,
so
it's fine.
she definitely jumps into the main male character's cart, fully naked, but with a wolf tail and wolf ears, and human hair and human features. But she's supposed to look like not quite like an adult, is what I was going to say, and it sounds even worse. So 17, 16, something. Essentially, we assume that her appearance is of a young lady of non-specific age who would otherwise look human except for her tail and her ears. Mm-hmm. But she's a god, so she's old, and so it's okay, as Patrick would remind us. That's how Japan works. If it's a god and it's old and it looks young, it's fine.
Like, they're elves, they're demons, there's spirits. That's just anime, guys.
Thing is she, by God standards, an adult?
Oh, you just made it harder to even feel good about this. But anyway.
That's a great question, dude. It is
good. I like the question. Dragons. I just feel a little bad now.
No. I mean, she's of adventuring age where she can obviously like venture out on her own. So there we go.
You know who else was of adventuring age? The 16-year-old who left her house and went to a different town and then slept with a bunch of dudes and then stayed under a light post so an older man could find her and rescue her and definitely not sleep with her until she was 18.
Still technically of age to go adventuring. I mean, if Ash Ketchum can go out at 10, then 16 is pretty fine.
Like, here's the thing. All right, I might say something just wild, but if she's a goddess, she lived, I don't know, let's say 2,000 years, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Holo, or whatever. Or an elf. Let's use Holo, for example. She's 2,000 years old, right? She's 2017 years old, whatever. Okay. All right, she's 2017. If you put it in perspective, the main character, he's like 20 or 30, right? So if you flip it on his head,
I think he was exactly 25, and right. I was like exactly 25 when I watched the show.
That's
why.
Like,
that's
why I love the show. But here's also the weird part with the age thing, right? So if you flip it on its head, she's really older, and he's the baby. She's preying on him. If you, I mean, let's not use the word, but let's just say the age difference, age power gap is different.
She is definitely a prey animal god, so she is definitely preying on him because he could be food.
Right.
Got it.
Yeah, and she's older, so she should know better.
And she's got quite the sexual appetite, is what I'm saying. Okay, I'm done.
Wow.
Anyway. So, digressed. Here's what's really good about this show.
Yes, tell me about the show, Cori. I want to watch it.
Oh, please.
I'm going to watch it.
I own it. Like, I don't know what I want more. A full remake or just a continuation? I probably want a continuation, but I probably will watch a full remake. The music is by Akino Arai, who is one of my favorite Japanese musical ladies. She's, on the older side, and I love her. I want to have her musical babies. So the music's really, really good. The ending songs are really, really good. The score is just great. The art is at the old art was pretty straightforward and good, but not fantastic because it's not an action show. It's a show about a dude who sells wheat. Picks up a wolf goddess who was taking care of the wheat in one town, but they don't care about her anymore. So she's like, I'm out. I'm going to go home. Her home is gone. She doesn't know where it is, but he's going to help her find it. And that's the story. And the whole mechanism of the story is he's going town to town doing merchant stuff. And it makes it unbelievably interesting learning about medieval economics. And to put a fine point to it, because my brother mentioned this, I don't like tsunderes. She's the best one. She's the best one. She's the best tsundere. The best. Because she's not really a tsundere. Not really. She's
just a bratty teenager.
She's not a...
She's 2017, you guys. Let's not.
She's not bratty. She's not bratty. Like, so I like to think of it like this. She is she's like the best version of the sitcom wife she's not all-knowing. She does make mistakes. They work on their relationship because of those mistakes. But she's there to be like tease him and make fun of him, but also be like, okay, let's make this work. She's got feelings. It's good. It's a good show about a dude traveling around selling stuff.
Thing is she a god or is she a yokai?
She's not. She is technically. So you know how in like Princess Mononoke the wolves are like huge.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
She's like that, except they also can look like people, except the ears and the tail.
Right.
Weren't they yokai though?
No, they weren't not like.
Oh, they're like
dragons,
where dragons
can
can
transform
be
or
human.
Beast. Yeah.
Sure, I guess you want to go that direction. I wouldn't say she's a yokai, but I think that the characters in the show specifically refer to her as a god, and then she doesn't really enjoy that title.
Oh.
She goes by the Wise Wolf of Yoitsu, but yeah, I love this show. I love the show. I love the music, the art. I love the books. I bought all of them. I've read most of them. I am excited. It's coming back. I think it's coming back I'm pretty sure it's coming back this year. I don't know anything else about it. So excited.
Wow. So you don't know if it's like a reboot or a continuation?
No idea. Because it was a teaser. Because if you look at the little picture I took you of my second screen, it just said like teaser announcement or something. So no information. Not even art. It was just like stills from like books. I'm like excited.
Wow.
So, super excited. And while I wait, I can watch Shield Hero when it comes back and hope it's good. Because that's the only show I'm actually looking forward to. Because I don't know when Bleach is coming out either.
Yeah, I mean, that's a show I definitely want to watch. Just because, I mean, you definitely talk a lot about it. And I know Hollow as the character, but just from that show, and I haven't really dived into Saitama Wolf. But we'll see if we'll see when it comes out, like the remake or whatever production they make. Like, would it be? And then would love to hear your take on whether you watched the original one from 2000 or this 2020 remake that they're doing. Because I would want to hear like, is which one that you prefer? Like, give it the whole Full Metal Alchemist theory. Like, this one's better.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've definitely watched. I don't rewatch a lot of stuff in general. The stuff I really love, I'll rewatch. Like, but not normally.
Mm-hmm.
It could be like Hunter x Hunter.
I have not rewatched Hunter x Hunter.
But like the original 2004 version, or 2011.
True. Yeah,
2 different versions.
Yeah. It was 2011 and in 2019. I want to say was the second one. Yeah. You could like compare it like that, or like Full Metal Alchemist. Yeah,
that's true.
But I didn't. I think I've rewatched Spice of Wolf. I've read the books, and then like I've done the same thing for Banner Stars / Crush of the Stars, and that's Sekai no Seki and whatever the other one was. But yeah, and I've read those and watched those. I've looked for the translation of the most recent books that will never be translated into English. Like, I love it. But yeah, these are some of the less prominent shows that exist out there that I'm a big fan of.
So it's like your most rewatched anime.
It's up there. Yeah, there's not so many. I mean, shonen shows are hard to watch because they're long. Like rewatch. Like, people talk about One Piece now because it's 1,000 episodes, and people are like, I don't even know if I want to get started. I'm like, I agree. I don't know if I want to get started. I watched the 4Kids dub, and I'm like, pass.
Yeah, for shonen shows, you rewatch the fight scenes, and then you get everything built based off of that story of the fight scene. Like Gaara versus Rock Lee, like you understand the backstory. Like you don't have to watch the episodes preceding. Like, oh yeah, I understand everything, and they fight, and that's like rewatching in that sense.
I will say this: another benefit of Demon Slayer is it's done. So not only is there a set beginning and end, right? You're pretty much guaranteed no filler, and it's not going to go on for 1,000 episodes. So if you're like down for maybe what I'm assuming is maybe 100 episodes, and that's like. I don't think it's going to be that much. Because I think it's only like 10 volumes of manga or something. It might be more than that. I don't actually know. I got to look that up. But it's not a forever show. So they're putting a lot of energy into making the show good, and it's working.
I'll start watching it. But I think my most rewatched anime is Jojo Romantica.
I thought you were going to say Utena. I definitely thought you were going to say Utena.
It's not. It's not Utena. It's Jojo Romantica.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
I think my most watched
I see.
movie of anime is a Dragon Ball movie that I've definitely watched too many times.
Sorry, I had to look up Jojo Romantica for a minute. I was like, oh, I just saw the character. Like, yeah, I getcha.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Is this a BL anime that we're talking about?
It is. It is a BL.
There's quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Even for me, I'm trying to think of what's like rewatching an anime.
Because I can specifically think of... Oh, go ahead.
Well, I mean, that's not taking into account, like, the anime that's on in the background. That's, like, your standard stuff that just is on, and so you rewatch it. This is one that, like, purposely would, like, put on and be like, all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Time to rewatch.
But I've definitely rewatched a couple Dragon Ball movies because sometimes just the fights are good. And it's just like, yep, I'll watch this again. This is great. Right? Cooler. The first Broly movie is not good, but I'll rewatch it very sporadically. No, mostly the Cooler one. Oh, I do like the one where they fight. Yeah, no, that was Cooler. Sorry.
that was
I
Metal
rethought
Cooler.
a whole scene. I'm like, wait, that's from Cooler
That
too.
was also Metal Cooler. Yeah.
BoJack. I don't like the second Cooler movie that much. BoJack Unbound and Cooler. Those are probably my favorite non-new Dragon Ball Super movies. Because most of them are very meh.
There's a lot.
But
yeah.
Dragon Ball, yeah, there's like, if you don't count Dragon Ball, you just count Dragon Ball Z, there's like 15 movies. Yeah.
That's a lot of movies.
I own them. Because I'm a nerd. But, yeah. Zane, thank you. He bought me some of those. Yeah, Dragon Ball movies. Yeah, it's like Dragon Ball is one of those things where if you are honest about it, it's not that good. But it's just good enough to be great to you. It just is. Just is. The more you watch Dragon Ball, the more you're like, oh, this is the same thing. The first couple seasons, like Goku versus Vegeta, Goku and Namek, that's like peak Dragon Ball, and then it starts to be the same. And by the time you get to Boo, it's just Cell again, and Cell was probably the best single villain by himself. And it was a good arc, a lot of build up, and then it's just like, okay, we're doing this again with Boo. Okay, we're doing this again with... Oh, look, Frieza's back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then they killed Frieza, brought Frieza back, then killed Frieza again, then brought Frieza back, then
that's true.
Killed a not Frieza who wasn't Frieza, but was like Frieza adjacent because it was a different universe. How many times can you kill Frieza? That's the real... Anyway, Dragon Ball. I could talk about Dragon Ball, but this is not a Dragon Ball podcast. There's plenty of Dragon Ball YouTubers out there. Go listen to them. Anyway, so I think I've wasted enough people's time, especially Patrick and Vicky, talking about Spice and Wolf. I appreciate you listening to me fanboy out on this lovely time that is everything but what's going on in you.
We're gonna definitely watch it, right, Vicky? We'll give it the good old Taku Katsu one episode at least.
Yeah, one episode.
I've seen it like in the background, but I haven't like watched it.
Yeah,
but I will watch.
I don't think it. I don't think it caters too much to the male crowd as a show. It's not obviously aimed at women in the strictest sense, but I don't think it's overly, at least the original, I don't think was overly fan servicey, even if the official artist is.
I've been to anime conventions. I've seen the posters.
Yeah, look,
we all had to start somewhere, guys.
I will say, I've talked to Vicky many times in the past, and I've said very clearly I do not want a Spice and Wolf a poster or wall scroll or anything, because 99% of it is lewd as hell, and the rest of it is porn.
The most funniest part was when Cori was like opening the Spice Wolf like artwork book, he would open. He's going through the pages like, oh my, he's gonna look at the first pages like just some artwork, some not lewd artwork, but some suggestive artwork. He was flipping through like, don't look through that. Thank you for the art. Thank you for the book, but don't look through that.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I love Holo. She's great. Mother's Basement agrees with me. That YouTube channel is great to watch, and he agrees. Holo is God. All right, so Vicky, what are we watching next week?
Next week, we're gonna watch a pick that we all want to watch for different varying reasons. Fantasy Bishoujo Juniku Ojisanto. Where it's life with an ordinary guy who reincarnated into a total fantasy knockout. And just reading the synopsis, I think it's a BL, y'all.
Yeah, it's 100% a BL. But it's a BL for me, I guess. Because I'm like, yep, I want to watch this.
You know what? You just made me realize that, yeah. I don't know if this is true, but my thought is that if he got into a lady's body, are there other guys who went to other ladies' bodies? Is he the only one? And so they're all ladies, but they're all men. That's just one of my thoughts. I was like, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. Looking at the cover art, it does look like it's a harem of some type. So I wonder if they're all men that became women.
It's a harem too? What is this show?
It's just too many women to the one man ratio.
What is this show? This is such a because if I remember, because I watched the trailer or whatever. The idea is that they're friends, but I can't even.
They're friends, and they get isekai'd into a new world, and one of them becomes a total knockout. And
then the other dude definitely wants to deepen their friendship.
Mm.
Well, it's not to the extent of that 7-minute one that we all suffered through.
Wait a minute.
Yep.
But
it's not that yet. That was the end of the show.
But there's definitely romance vibes possibly in this.
Yeah. I think it's going to be funny. I think it's going to be funny. I think it's going to push 0 buttons or all of the buttons, but probably 0 buttons. I think it's going to be as metaphorically friendly to LGBT as Ranma, which is not that much, but not that little either. We'll see. I'm down. Fantasy Bishoujo Junika Ojisanto. That'll be episode 48.
Yes, all I gotta say
Taku Katsu.
Damn it. It's an isekai. Damn it. Just give...
It's a lot of things that we had. It's an isekai. It's BL. It's probably a harem. It's a lot going on with it.
Yeah, we got to pull out all of our scales for this one. Okay. So, like I said, this has been episode 47. We went over the first episode of Sabikui Bisco. I hate this name. Subaru Nabisco. And we thought it was good. Good. Yeah. Really good. Oh, yeah. Not amazing, not fantastic, just really, really good. And we're all going to watch the next episode and hopefully talk about that and other things like boys getting turned into girls in a fantasy world that they got isekai'd into while they try not to bang their bros. So let's all sign off from our wonderful empty bowl that we ate all of our wonderful karage and everything else. Say goodbye, Patrick.
See you later, guys. Eat mushrooms. Eat lots of mushrooms.
Say good night, Vicky.
Badger,
mushroom.
I still don't remember what that is, but that's okay, because you can.
It's from the early internet days.
Yes.
Yeah, well, you know what? I just start thinking about peanut butter jelly time. But anyway, everybody, you have a good night. Watch a couple episodes of the anime. If anything you like from us was enjoyable, let us know. We're on YouTube. We're on iTunes. We're on Podbean. Leave us a message somewhere. Leave us a message on our email or our Twitter or whatever. And listen to another episode. tell other people what you like. Tell us what you don't like. And tell us if you're going to watch us or listen again. We've been Taku Katsu. And this has been episode 47, reviewed Sabikui Bisco.